So, hello everyone. So, our next topic would be revaluation of PPE. That is nothing but your property, plant, and equipment. So, as the property, plant, and equipment are nothing but our fixed assets. So that means whenever there is a revaluation in your fixed assets, what we are supposed to do. So let us understand. When a company after initial recognition of a fixed asset, that means after purchasing an asset and after recognizing it as a fixed asset, the company would be having two options. The company would have two options, that is, either the company can follow the cost model or the company can follow the revaluation model. Cost model or revaluation model. Sir, what is the meaning of cost model and what is the meaning of revaluation model? Let us understand. Let's say in our company we are having different types of machineries. Let us understand, we are having machinery 1 and machinery 2 and also we are having machinery number 3. So in that case, so let us assume the machinery 1 was purchased at 10,000 rupees, machinery 2 was purchased at 15,000 rupees and machinery 3 was purchased at 40,000 rupees. Let us assume that. So in that case, so as these are nothing but our fixed assets, so that means the company was also recognize it as a fixed asset. So after recognizing the fixed asset, the company can follow cost model or revaluation model. So what is the meaning of cost model? Cost model is nothing but the assets should be recorded. Assets should be recorded at their fixed cost. So that means whenever a company follows a cost model, in that case the assets should be recorded at their fixed cost, or it could be an acquisition cost or original cost, whatever it could be. So in that case, whenever you are following cost model, the individual assets would be recorded at their fixed cost. But whenever you are following revaluation model, so in that case, all the assets of same class should be revalued. Sir, what is the meaning of same class? Let us understand here. So as these are nothing but our assets, even though they are individuals or separate assets or separate machinery, as a group these are nothing but machines. Yes or no? So as a group, these are nothing but machines. So in that case, all of these three would come under same class. So in that case, whenever a company wants to follow revaluation model, so in that case the company should and must revalue the same class. So that means you cannot revalue only one asset out of this total class or group. So if you want to follow revaluation model, so in that case the total 3 assets should be revalued, not one asset. Yes or no? So in that case, so let us assume after 2 years, the company wants to revalue the asset. So in that case, let us assume the machinery 1 was revalued at 15,000 rupees. First machinery after 2 years, upon revaluation, was valued by an independent valuer at 15,000 rupees. Your machinery number 2 was revalued at 10,000 rupees. And let us assume your machinery number 3 was valued at 60,000 rupees. Yes or no? So that means upon revaluation, the first machinery, was it revalued upwards or downwards? upwards because it is having only 10,000 value upon purchase, but after revaluing the asset was revalued at 15,000. So there is an upward revaluation in case of machinery 1. There is a downward revaluation in case of second machinery. There is a upward revaluation in case of your third machinery. Yes or no? Now, so that means upon revaluation, the assets can be revalued upwards. The assets can be revalued upwards, and also the assets can be revalued downwards. Assets can be revalued upwards or the assets can be revalued downwards. So when there is an upward revaluation, in that case, the difference amount, so what is the difference amount here? So in case of our first machinery, so what is the cost, sir? Your cost was 10,000 rupees and it was revalued after 2 years at 15,000, means the difference amount would be 5,000 rupees. Yes or no? So this difference amount should be credited. This difference amount should be credited to a separate account called as your revaluation surplus account. So that means whenever an asset is revalued upwards, that difference amount should be credited to your revaluation account. So what is the meaning of crediting to revaluation account? So let us understand here. So as this asset was revalued upwards, so upon recording the journal entry, what you are going to record? So as it need to be credited to revaluation account means the asset is increasing. Yes or no? So as the asset is a debit balance, so in case of increase in the asset, it should be on the same side. So that means upon recording the journal entry in the books, so what is the journal entry? The journal entry would be machinery account debit to it should be credited to revaluation surplus account. So how much was the balance? So how much we are supposed to record? We are supposed to record only this 5,000 rupees. So 5,000 debit, 5,000 credit. That's it. When there is an increase in the asset, it should be credited to revaluation account. So that's why we have credited to revaluation account. Let's continue. If it is a subsequent increase, in that case, the difference amount should be, if there is a subsequent increase, in that case, the difference amount should be transferred to P&L account. It should be transferred to P&L account after debiting the total of revaluation surplus account. So before understanding what is this sentence, let us continue with our downwards, and after that let us take an example and understand it in detail. It is very easy topic. So before going into your example, to understand this after debiting or this para or these words or this sentence, so before going into this example, let us understand about your downward also. Okay, now, so in case of our machinery number 2, as the fixed assets can be revalued downwards also, revalued downwards also, in our second case, it was a revalued downwards. So how much was the difference, sir? The difference was 5,000 rupees. Was it revalued upwards or downwards? Downwards. So in that case, whenever a fixed asset is revalued downwards, in that case, the difference amount the difference amount should be debited to P&L account. When there is a decrease in the asset, or when there is a downward revaluation in the asset, the difference amount should be debited to P&L account. And if it is a subsequent decrease, in that case this difference should be transferred to your revaluation surplus account. But after crediting the total of P&L account. So this is your revaluation of property, plant and your equipment. So please don't confuse about these words or sentence. So with a simple example, now we are going to understand the total concept of your revaluation. Don't bother about these things. Let us concentrate on the example now. So as assets can be of two types, that is the depreciable assets and non-depreciable assets. So let us continue with our non-depreciable assets now. Non-depreciable asset. So example 1. So let us continue with our non-depreciable asset. So your non-depreciable asset could be your land, yes or no? So land, let us assume the land value was 1 lakh rupees, and in the first year, as there would be no depreciation in case of your non-depreciable assets, so in the first year, the asset was revalued at 1,20,000 rupees. In the second year, the asset was revalued at 90,000 rupees. In the third year, the asset is revalued at 1,30,000. So this is nothing but our example to understand this concept. So let us continue now. So at the end of first year, your carrying value of land, how much was it? 1 lakh rupees. Your carrying value of asset or land was 1 lakh rupees. Now at the end of the first year, the asset, was it revalued upwards or downwards? At the end of first year, the asset, was it revalued upwards or downwards? Upwards. So as it was revalued upwards, how much was it revalued? So it was revalued at 1,20,000 rupees. So that means the difference amount. So how much was it revalued upwards, sir? The difference amount of 20,000 is nothing but revaluation of asset upwards, yes or no? Now as we need to record the journal entry, upon recording the journal entry, when there is an upward increase, so it should be credited to which account, sir? Sir, revaluation surplus. So the journal entry would be land account debit to as it should be credited to revaluation. So revaluation surplus account. So how much was it increased, sir? 20,000 rupees debit, 20,000 rupees credit. So this is after first year. So now next, end of second year. At the end of second year. So at the end of second year, what is the carrying value of the asset, sir? The carrying value of the asset, now how much? Now it is 1,20,000 rupees, and upon revaluation in the second year, it was revalued upwards or downwards? Downwards. It was revalued downwards. So how much was it revalued? It was revalued at 90,000 rupees. So in that case, the difference would be 30,000 rupees. Yes or no? So the asset in the second year, it was revalued downward. So as we are supposed to record the journal entry, what is the journal entry, sir? So the journal entry would be P&L. So as it should, so when there is a downward decrease, as it should be debited to P&L. So what is the journal entry? The journal entry would be P&L account debit to land account. So how much we are supposed to record it in our land account? How much was it decreasing? The asset is decreasing to the extent of 30,000 rupees. Yes or no? Now how much it should be transferred to? How much of it should be transferred to P&L account, sir? So here please concentrate. So in the first year, we are having a gain on the revaluation. In the first year, we are having a gain on revaluation. Upon revaluation, yes or no? There is a gain upon revaluation in the first year to the extent of 20,000 rupees. Now, in the second year, there is a loss of 30,000 rupees. Yes or no? So in the first year, there is a gain of 20,000 rupees. In the second year, there is a loss of 30,000 rupees. So in that case, our net loss on that asset should be how much? Only 10,000 rupees. Yes or no? There is a gain of 20,000. There is a loss of 30,000. So in that case, the net loss should be only 10,000 rupees. So in that case, so how much it should be? Only 10,000 rupees. That is the reason. First of all, we need to cancel the revaluation surplus account. So as we need to cancel the revaluation account, why are we cancelling, sir? In the first year, we have recorded 20,000 as a gain, and we have credited that amount to revaluation surplus account. So in the second year, this gain of 20,000 wouldn't be anymore a gain. So that is the reason we need to cancel this revaluation surplus first. So the journal entry would be P&L account debit, revaluation surplus account debit. That means, so first of all, we need to cancel revaluation accounts. How much was it in the revaluation? So there is a gain of 20,000 rupees. So after cancelling this 20,000 rupees, the remaining amount should be recorded in your or debited in your P&L account. So that is how much? 30,000 minus 20,000. It would be 10,000 rupees. Yes or no? Let's continue. At the end of third year. So at the end of third year, the carrying value of the asset was how much now? 90,000 rupees. So as you are having carrying value of 90,000 rupees, upon revaluation in the third year, so it was revalued. Was it upward revaluation, downward? Upward or downward? Upward. So as it was revalued upwards, how much was the amount, sir? The revaluation was at 1,30,000 rupees. So in that case, the difference amount was 40,000 rupees. Now, as we need to record this 40,000 rupees, was it upward revaluation or downward revaluation? Upward revaluation. So upward revaluation should be credited to which account? Revaluation account. So the journal entry would be, as it is an upward revaluation, the asset would be increasing. So your journal entry would be land account debit. Land account debit. How much was it increasing? Land is increasing to the extent of 40,000 rupees. So that is the reason I have debited it 40,000 rupees. So it should be credited to which account? Revaluation surplus account. So to revaluation surplus account. Revaluation surplus account. Okay. So as they are saying, I have done it. But this is most important, sir. So please concentrate here. So in the second year, upon revaluation of this asset, in the second year upon revaluation, so there is a loss to the extent of how much? 10,000 rupees. So that is the reason we have debited it to P&L account. So in the second year, as there is a loss of 10,000 on the same asset, and in the third year there is a gain of 40,000 on the same asset. There is a 40,000 gain in the third year and there is a 10,000 loss in the second year. So in that case, at the end of third year, your gain of 40,000 and your loss of 10,000. So in that case, the net loss would be how much? The net loss would be, the net gain would be how much? Only 30,000 rupees. So in that case, so we are supposed to credit it to revaluation account only. But after cancelling this loss, the remaining amount should be credited to revaluation account. So to P&L account. So to P&L account, how much was there in the P&L account? So there is a 10,000 rupees in the P&L account. So the remaining amount only should be transferred to your revaluation surplus account. So how much it should be transferred? Out of 40, 10,000 is transferred or cancelled from your P&L account, and the remaining amount would be transferred to revaluation surplus account, that is 30,000 rupees. Yes or no? So this 20,000 was transferred from the first year and this 30,000 is transferred after reducing your P&L account. So this is about your revaluation of assets upward in case it is a non-depreciable asset. Okay, let us continue. Sir, even after the example we are having some doubt. So yes, there could be some confusion. So as there is some confusion, let us continue with one more simple example and understand it in detail. So let us continue. Your example number 2, and we are going to continue with the non-depreciable asset only, your example number 2. So let us assume your asset or land value was 1 lakh rupees. And in the first year, the land was revalued at 80,000 rupees. In the second year, the asset was revalued at 1,20,000 rupees. And in the third year, the asset was revalued at 90,000 rupees. Sir, what is the difference between first example and second example? In the first example, you have started with a upward revaluation. But in the second case, you are starting with downward revaluation. Yes or no? Now continue. So as we need to record the journal entries, so first of all, at the end of first year, the carrying value. How much was the carrying value, sir? The carrying value, how much? 1 lakh rupees. Now, at the end of or in the first year, you are revaluing your asset. So the asset, was it revalued upwards or downwards? Upwards or downwards? So the asset is revalued downwards. In our first example, it was upwards. In the second example, we are starting with the downwards. Was it okay? Now, so how much was it? The difference would be 20,000 rupees. Was it okay? Let's continue. So as we need to record the journal entries in the books of the company, so as it is a downward revaluation, it should be debited to which account? P&L account. So the journal entry would be P&L account debit to P&L account debit to land account. So how much was it? 20,000 rupees. 20,000 rupees. The difference in your first example and second example is nothing but in the first example we have started with upward revaluation. In the second year we are starting with downward revaluation. That's it. Okay. Now at the end of second year. At the end of second year. So at the end of second year, what is the carrying value, sir? The carrying value would be how much now? 80,000 rupees. The carrying value would be 80,000 rupees. And in the second year or at the second year, at the end of second year, the asset was revalued. Was it revalued upwards or downwards? Was it revalued upwards or downwards? Upwards. It was revalued at 1,20,000 rupees. So as it was revalued at 1,20,000 rupees means there is a difference of how much? 40,000 rupees. Yes or no? There is an increase to the extent of 40,000 rupees. So when there is an increase in the asset, it should be recorded. So as it should be recorded, so we are supposed to record the journal entry. Yes or no? Now, as the asset is increased, so I am debiting the asset. So land account debit. How much was it increasing? The land is increasing to the extent of 40,000 rupees. Now, when there is an upward revaluation, it should be credited to, which account? Surplus, revaluation surplus. So that is the reason I am crediting to revaluation. So revaluation surplus account. So how much was it? How much it should be recorded? That is the main problem. So how much we need to transfer to the, or how much we need to credit to the revaluation account, sir? How much we need to transfer? In the first year, as the asset was revalued, there is a loss of 20,000 rupees. Yes or no? There is a loss of 20,000 rupees. So in the second year, upon revaluation, there is a profit. It cannot be called as a profit. It is nothing but a gain. So in the second year, there is a gain of 40,000 rupees. So in that case, there is a loss of 20,000 rupees and there is a gain of 40,000 rupees. In that case, the net gain would be only 20,000 rupees. Yes or no? The net gain would be only 20,000 rupees. So in that case, as the net gain is only 20,000 means, first of all, you need to cancel this P&L account and the remaining amount only should be credited to revaluation surplus account. Yes or no? Now, so to P&L account. So how much was it in the P&L account? How much was it? So in our P&L account, there is a loss to the extent of 20,000 rupees. So that is the reason the remaining amount only would be transferred to revaluation surplus account. So how much was it? 20,000 rupees. Yes or no? Next, continue. So at the end of third year, so at the end of third year, how much was the carrying value, sir? The carrying value of our asset was how much? 1,20,000 rupees. The carrying value was 1,20,000 and at the end of third year, the asset was revalued at 90,000 means, was it revalued upwards or downwards? So at the end of third year, the asset was revalued at 90,000 rupees. Yes or no? 90,000 rupees. Was it upward revaluation or downward? Downward. So 90,000 rupees. Now, how much was it revalued downwards? What is the difference amount, sir? The difference amount would be 30,000 rupees. How much was the difference amount? 30,000 rupees. So as we are supposed to record the journal entry, the journal entry would be as the asset was decreased, it should be debited to which account? P&L surplus. P&L account. So what is the journal entry? The journal entry would be P&L account debit as the asset is decreased, P&L account debit to land account. Yes or no? So how much was our land decreasing? To the extent of 30,000. So I have credited 30,000 rupees. Now, so how much amount should be debited to P&L account, sir? How much amount should be debited? How much amount? That is, after cancelling your revaluation surplus of a second year. So that means in the second year there is a gain of 20,000 rupees. In the second year there is a gain of 20,000 rupees, and in the third year there is a loss of 30,000 rupees. So in that case the net effect would be only 10,000 loss. So that means we are supposed to transfer only 10,000 rupees because the reason is we need to cancel our revaluation surplus, which is nothing but a gain on revaluation. So after cancelling the revaluation only, the remaining balance should be transferred to P&L account. So the journal entry would be P&L account debit, revaluation surplus account debit. So first of all, how much was our revaluation surplus in the second year? So 20,000 rupees. So this 20,000 is nothing but from your second year, and the remaining amount only should be transferred to P&L. So how much was it? 20,000 minus 30. How much? 10,000 rupees. Are you getting? So this is about your revaluation of assets upwards and downwards. Example number 1 and 2 in case of non-depreciable assets. In case of non-depreciable assets where there would be no depreciation. So this is your example. So if you understand, let us continue with our another example where we are going to learn with the depreciable assets. Okay, now continue. Okay, let us continue. So your example number 3. So we are starting with our example number 3 where it is nothing but a depreciable assets now. Depreciable asset. Next, continue. So in our example, let us assume our asset was 10 lakh rupees. As it is a depreciable asset, there should be some period of time or life of the asset. Yes or no? So in that case, the life of the asset was 10 years. As this is a depreciable asset, the scrap value, let us assume the scrap value was 0, and let us continue here. So the additional information I am continuing here, please concentrate. So the additional information is nothing but at the second year, at the end of second year, the asset was revalued at 5 lakh, and at the end of fourth year the asset revalued at 9 lakh rupees. So this is your information. So in our example number 1 and 2, we have understood what happens if there is a revaluation upwards or downwards in case of non-depreciable assets. So in our example 3, this is nothing but your depreciable assets. So what we are supposed to do in case of depreciable assets? Let us continue. So at the end of second year, as we need to know the carrying value, so how can we know the carrying value? The carrying value is nothing but the cost 10 lakh rupees, As it is a depreciable asset, we need to reduce the depreciation. So after reducing your depreciation from your cost, that would be your carrying value. Yes or no? Now, so as we need to reduce the depreciation, so we need to decrease the accumulated depreciation, because we are calculating, or we are recording at the end of second year. Yes or no? So in the first year, as we need to depreciate the asset in the first year also, so at the end of second year, we are calculating the depreciation of first year and second year combiningly. It is nothing but your accumulated depreciation. So for calculation of depreciation, so your depreciation, what is the formula, sir? Your depreciation formula, cost minus scrap value divided by life. Yes or no? So in that case, your cost was 10 lakh rupees, your scrap value was 0, divided by 10 years. The life is 10 years. So the depreciation is 1 lakh per year. 1 lakh per year. So in that case, as we are calculating at the end of second year, means we need to calculate the depreciation for how many years? 2 years. So the accumulated depreciation would be 2 lakh rupees. That is 1 lakh into 2 years. So after reducing your depreciation, the carrying value of the asset would be 8 lakh rupees. Yes or no? Now continue. So as the assets carrying value is 8 lakh rupees, at the end of second year, the asset was revalued at how much? 5 lakh rupees. So was it revalued upwards or downwards? How much was our carrying value? 8 lakhs. But it was revalued at 5 lakhs. So that means the asset was revalued downwards. So how much was our amount? The value was 5 lakhs. So in that case, the difference would be how much, sir? 3 lakh rupees. How much was our difference? 3 lakh rupees. So that means the asset was revalued downwards to the extent of 3 lakhs. So as we need to record the journal entries now, so we need to record our 3 lakhs of decrease in the value. Yes or no? Now let us continue with our journal entries. So before recording this downwards revaluation journal entry, first of all, we are supposed to record the journal entry for depreciation also. Yes or no? So as we need to record the journal entry for accumulated depreciation, so what is the journal entry? The journal entry would be accumulated depreciation account debit to asset account. So we are decreasing the asset to the extent of 2 lakhs. It is nothing but your accumulated depreciation. So what is the journal entry? Accumulated depreciation account debit to asset account. So what is the value? How much was the depreciation? 2 lakh rupees. So 2 lakh debit, 2 lakh credit. Yes or no? So this is for your depreciation. Now let us continue. So after recording the depreciation, we are supposed to record the journal entry for downward revaluation. So upon downward revaluation, when there is a downward revaluation, so it should be debited to which account? P&L account. So the journal entry would be P&L account debit to which asset account. So how much was our downward revaluation? 3 lakh rupees. 3 lakh debit, 3 lakh credit. So these are your journal entries at the end of second year. Yes or no? Now continue. So sir, as I'm not having the space there, I'm continuing with our fourth year calculation on the other side of the board. So please concentrate. Now So after second year, so at the end of fourth year, at the end of fourth year. Now, so as we need to calculate our carrying value. So for calculating the carrying value, the formula is nothing but your cost minus accumulated depreciation. So your cost of the asset, how much was our cost now? 5 lakh minus accumulated depreciation, because we are calculating the depreciation for 2 years. I'm naming it as accumulated depreciation instead of depreciation. So how much was our depreciation? For calculation of depreciation, the formula would be depreciation is equals to your cost of the asset minus scrap value divided by your life. Yes or no? So please concentrate here. So how much was our cost? Your cost was 5 lakh rupees minus how much was our scrap value? Your scrap value would be 0 divided by life. How much was our life? So how much was our life remaining, sir? How much was our life remaining? The life of this asset remaining was 8 years. Yes or no? Because we only calculated our depreciation for only 2 years. So that means the remaining life of the asset would be 8 years. So in that case, the depreciation would be 5 lakh minus 0 divided by 8 years. So in that case, upon calculation, 5 lakh divided by 8 years, it would be 62,500 would be your depreciation per year for 1 year. So as we need to calculate the depreciation for 2 years, how much it would be? So 62,500 into 2. Your 62,500 into 2 into 2. 1,25,000 rupees. So your depreciation would be 1,25,000 rupees. So after reducing your 1,25,000 rupees out of your 5 lakhs. So 3,75,000 rupees. 3,75,000 would be your carrying value. Your carrying value. Now, so your carrying value is 3,75,000 rupees, and at the end of fourth year it was revalued. At how much? 9 lakh rupees. So in that case, as it was revalued 9 lakh, so it would be increase in the asset. Yes or no? So it is nothing but your increase. So how much was the increase? The increase would be, as it was revalued 9 lakh rupees, so the increase, it would be better if I write it down. So it was increased to the 9 lakh rupees. So the difference would be how much, sir? The difference would be 3,75,000. So your 9 lakh minus 3,75,000. 3,75,000. So how much was it? 5,25,000. 5,25,000 was your difference. So as this is nothing but an increase, whenever there is an increase, it should be credited to which account? Revaluation surplus account. Yes or no? Now, but before recording this revaluation difference, first of all we are supposed to record the journal entry for accumulated depreciation. Yes or no? So the journal entry would be accumulated depreciation accumulated depreciation account debit to asset account. So how much was our depreciation, sir? 1,25,000. So 1,25,000 debit, 1,25,000 credit. So now, so after recording the journal entry for your depreciation, so your next journal entry would be to record the revaluation difference. Yes or no? To record the revaluation difference as it is an increase. How much was it increasing? 5,25,000. Yes or no? As it is an increase or revaluation upwards in the asset, it should be credited to which account, sir? Revaluation surplus. Yes or no? So I'm erasing it. So please don't bother to record the journal entry. So now let us continue. So as we need to record the journal entry for this revaluation difference, so as it is an increase, it should be credited to revaluation surplus. Yes or no? So as the asset is increasing, I'm increasing the asset. So asset account debit. So it should be credited to which account? Revaluation surplus account. So how much was the asset increasing? The asset is increasing to the extent of 5,25,000. Yes or no? Now, so how much it should be recorded in our revaluation surplus is the biggest question here. How much we are supposed to record it in our revaluation surplus, sir? So please concentrate here. At the end of second year, on the same asset, upon revaluation, there is a loss to the extent of 3 lakhs. So upon revaluation at the end of second year on the same asset, there is a loss to the extent of 3 lakhs. So at the end of fourth year, upon revaluation of the same asset, there is a gain to the extent of 5,25,000. So in that case, your net difference should be how much, sir? 3 lakh minus 5,25,000. So only 2,25,000 would be only your net gain. Yes or no? So that is the reason. So first of all, you are supposed to cancel your loss. Yes or no? So now, so the difference amount only would be transferred to your revaluation surplus. So to P&L account. So how much was there in our P&L account, sir? How much was there in our P&L account? Upon revaluation loss, how much? 3 lakh rupees. So after cancelling your loss, only the difference amount would be treated as the net gain. So in your P&L account, there is a revaluation loss of 3 lakh here. So after cancelling this 3 lakh, the difference amount only should be transferred to your revaluation surplus. So how much it would be? 5,25,000 minus 3 lakh. So the difference amount would be 2,25,000. Are you getting? So the balancing figure is nothing but after reducing your P&L 3 lakhs. Are you getting? So in our example 1 and example 2, it was dealt with non-depreciable assets. So in our example number 3, we have discussed with our depreciable assets. If there is an increase, it should be transferred to your revaluation surplus. If it is a decrease, it should be transferred to your P&L, subject to or however, or there is an exception. What is the exception? Only after cancelling the respective gains or losses only, the remaining amount should be recorded in their revaluation surplus or in their P&L account. Was it okay? I hope you all understood. Thank you very much.